Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Anthony Neko Macias, who will fight on Peak Fighting 52 May 2nd. Hello, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. And actually, in just few days, you will fight against, I think, that overall really good fighter, and also in quite interesting place because it will be like a main event of big regional show. So, if you can tell me, how excited are you that this is happening in your fourth pro bout?
I'm a 10 out of a 10 excitement, man. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to get to main event in Oklahoma where I can have all my people there and also show what level I'm at in the game against a solid opponent. You know what I mean? This guy's been around the block. He's fought on Dana White's Contender Series twice. And so it's a big opportunity for me to get to show what level I'm at and where I've worked so hard to get to.
And do you feel that there can be like stress, like maybe 1, maybe 2 days before your fight, that this will go to you, that it's actually a kind of like a big opportunity for you?
Man, for me, it's hard to get that stress in a bad way. You know what I mean? I always have the healthy fear. Like it's a fight. I have the healthy fears that's always are going to come with it. But for me, fighting is just, I'm very grateful to be an opportunity where I have fun with it. When I train, I have fun. I get to go out Saturday night in front of hometown, in front of all my people, all my friends and family, and get to show how hard I've been working. And I think my preparation has a big thing to do with my confidence, is because I know I've checked every box and I know I've worked as hard as I possibly can. And if for some reason I don't get my hand raised on Saturday night, I will know I did everything in my power to do that. So I feel like that eliminates a lot of the stress and a lot of the pressure, and I just get to go out there and have fun and show my skills and be the main event. You know what I mean? And get out there and fight, and that's what I look forward to the most.
And actually, I think that if you will win this fight, you will put yourself in a really good position because, of course, you are like undefeated fighter. You will beat Contender Series vets, so definitely it would be like a point that it's hard to deny you. Of course, like four bouts, it's still not maybe not too much as the pro, but like the name value on your record would be like really solid one.
Yes, sir. I 100% agree. And that's kind of same thought process. I'll be in a good position. I'm not all the way there yet. I only have four professional fights after this one. So the amount of fights isn't quite there, but the quality of opponent will be there. My undefeated record will be there. I've had three finishes in the first round in my first three pro fights. So as long as I can keep that kind of streak going, it'll be hard to deny me after one or two more performances.
But of course, like Malik Lewis is a tough opponent. He got good experience. He of course got really good knockout power. So if you can tell me, did you have any chance to watch any of his like fights or like analyze his style a little bit more?
We always analyze. I think a big part of my fight camp and my game plan is this right here. This gym, this is at my house. This is just built under my carport. Me, my dad, and my brother built it. And so, I mean, we'll sit here and watch film. We'll do things on pads and like work on things that we see and things we can work on. So, game planning is a big part of every one of my camps. Thankfully, I have my dad, I have my coaches, my grappling coaches, my MMA coaches. We always game plan and we're coming with a very specific structure to each fight. I'm not just coming in here to fight and throw bombs and wrestle. You know what I mean? I'm coming in here with a plan and a structure every time I fight.
And for now, you like finished everyone really quickly. And of course, like there is always like a little bit, let's say, question mark when the fighter is destroying everybody in the first round. What will happen in the like second or the third round? And in your case, when you like train your cardio, how do you feel about it? And do you think that it can be like another weapon in your like arsenal, let's say?
I 100% think it could be another weapon in my arsenal. I haven't been able to utilize it yet, but like a lot of fighters say, when I was first coming up, I didn't really align with this, but a lot of fighters like high level will be like, you don't get the finish when you're looking for it. It just happens. And so as a pro, I've kind of gone into that with every camp. It's like I'm not necessarily looking to go out there and finish in the first round. Every fight I train like it's going to be a drag, scrape through the mud, just hard war for 3 rounds. That's what I train for every time. I prepare for that. However many rounds I'm fighting, I'm prepared for war for all 3 rounds as hard as it can go. I'm prepared to barely win a split decision if I have to. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's how I'm preparing. And then just the confidence in my preparation allows me to fight like I do in the first round. and still be able to know, oh, I can fight like that again in the second round and the third. But everybody that I fought so far hasn't been able to keep up with how I fight the first. You know what I mean?
And last time you fought, it was August, and in this year, how many more of the fights would you like to have?
Dude, I love a good two or three more fights this year, hopefully. Three might be pushing it. It just kind of depends. There's a lot of moving parts of the fight game. I do cut a lot of weight, so I got to make sure I'm in a position where I'm not going to compromise my health or safety and that kind of thing. Also, getting opponents aligned. I've had several opponents drop out. I've had reasons I couldn't fight. You know what I mean? So there's just the whole fight game is just a big machine with a lot of moving parts, and you got to line them up to fight. But hopefully, we can get two or three more lined up for the end of the year.
So for this fight, how much of the weight did you need to cut?
Oh, I mean, I was in pretty decent shape this fight because I had a fight that fell through in January, so I just kind of rolled that over. I've cut so when I'm like kind of walking around, not really when I'm a little chunkier, I'm usually like 185, 180 around there. And then when I'm training consistently and in the gym a lot, I'm usually like 175, 177. So I cut about 20, 22 pounds.
And like this like weight cutting is a little bit like fight before the like real fight because it in the end it like really can test you mentally, and sometimes it can be like even tougher than being like hit in the face.
100%. I mean, funny story. So my last fight in August, the weight cut was 100% harder in the fight. I mean, we got to the hotel in Lubbock, and the hotel didn't have a sauna. And then we went to a gym. They didn't have a sauna. Went to another gym. Their sauna was broken, but they had a steam room. And so I was like, okay, I'll try it out. I've never used one. I'll try it. I'm in the steam room for probably about 2 hours. And we get back to the hotel and weigh. And this is probably about midnight. And we weigh in at 9 a.m. the next morning. And I'm still 3.5 pounds over at midnight. And like, I'm like getting lightheaded when I stand up. And I'm just like, oh my god! And so I had to run off 3.5 pounds all the way until about 3:30 in the morning before my weigh-ins for that fight. I ran off. I mean, I just bundled up, sauna suit, treadmill. I would hop off, get in a heated blanket, and I mean, I ran off 3.5 pounds, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And then just went out there and fought and won in the first 2.5 minutes. And I was like, okay, it feels good, it's worth it. But sometimes the weight cut is definitely harder than the fight.
And if you can tell me more about your like beginnings in the overall like combat sports, what kind of background did you have before you started like full MMA training?
So very beginning, my dad was in UFC 2 and 4, like way back in the day, way back when UFC was first starting, stuff like that. He'd kind of been a pioneer for MMA in our area in Oklahoma a lot. He's had close to 100 kickboxing fights, had a ton of MMA fights. And so I've always been surrounded by the sport all growing up. I mean, there are pictures of me as like a baby in a diaper hitting the little like punching bag thing. And so I've always loved it and I've always wanted to do that. Judo was my first official like combat sport. So I did judo from when I was about 6 to 12 years old. And then I wrestled throughout high school, qualified for state 3 times, placed in state for wrestling, and then had a partial scholarship offer to go wrestle somewhere. COVID happened. That kind of fell through. And I was like, you know what? Let's just full send MMA. This is what I've always wanted to do. I don't really want to go to more school. Like wrestling's cool and all, but I really want to fight. So that's kind of where that started. 2021 was when I started full time training MMA.
And did you have a overall like a chance to watch your father as the like fighter, so that you were like a fan or like in the crowd?
So I was a lot younger when my dad fought a lot. So as a kid, I did, but I don't really remember it. He fought in Pride in Japan when I was a baby, and so I was a little baby in Japan, but I don't remember any of it. So we watched a lot of his film and stuff like that, and but no, I haven't got too many opportunities to watch it and actually remember it in person.
But probably it's like a kind of crazy to have someone like him with this kind of experience, and of course he's like the probably one of the like easy the closest person to use. So probably with the this kind of like knowledge and experience, it's like he's like super beneficial for like overall your career.
100%. I mean, I owe so much to him, and most importantly, not even as just a coach or a mentor, just as being a dad. You know what I mean? Like he's been taught me so much. I wouldn't be who I am without him, and just being a man, let alone fighting. You know what I mean? So he's taught me so much on how to be a good man, and then you add fighting and all of his knowledge to that on top of it, and they go hand in hand. So he's been a huge part of my career. Him, my little brother, my mom, and my girlfriend have been probably the biggest supporters I could have ever asked for. You know what I mean? My little brother is always here out here with me, holding pads for me, just doing stuff when he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to sacrifice his time to do that. And he comes out here and helps me. My mom constantly supported me growing up when I just needed to train a lot, didn't always have the most money. You know what I mean? They would help me out whenever I needed it. And my girlfriend has just been here for me constantly. It's not easy to support someone when they're cutting weight and when they're constantly drained from being tired and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So she's just been my rock, and she's been amazing and is always graceful and patient with me when I'm in these times. So I just have an amazing support system, and I'm super thankful for that.
Yes, like the great team probably also one of the most important things in the sport is if you are not surrounded by good people, even if you are like super talented, probably you will not be really successful.
100%.
And if you can tell me about the gym that you are training in, of course, not in your home because
Yeah.
probably you can train there all the time, but you're like
Yeah.
let's say regular gym.
Yeah, so I train at American Elite MMA. It's here in Edmond, Oklahoma, and we just got a lineup of such talented and skilled guys. One of our guys, Zevin Hunt, he's 7-0 now, I believe. Probably gonna be fighting on Contender Series soon. If not, next fight, definitely the one after that. He's one of my main training and sparring partners. I mean, when you're going against a 7-0 pro welterweight who's bigger than you, taller than you, and he's so good, dude. And so when I'm going with that guy in the gym every day, it's hard to not get better. You know what I mean? We push each other constantly. I remember there was a time where my wrestling played a big factor in our rounds, and then he evolved and he ended up figuring out how to like reverse me and kind of subdue my wrestling. And then I had to evolve past that, and so we just keep getting better and pushing each other. We have a lot of good guys up there at American Elite. Matt Grice, the head coach, just constant, no bullshit knowledge. You know what I mean? It's straight to the point. It's like, hey, this is what's gonna work. This not. Let's stick to this. Very, very strong MMA knowledge right there.
And actually, I remember Matt Grice from his one of his like UFC fights. It was a kind of crazy fight. I'm not sure who it was, but it was like probably like 13 years ago. It was fight of the night and probably one of the best like fights of the year in the UFC.
Yep. Uh-huh.
About your like being let's say being also the fan of the sport, do you have a maybe like one maybe few favorite fighters, but of course not the fighters that you are that we are training with, but from like the fans perspective, let's say.
My favorite's got to be, I mean, this is kind of cliche, but dude, Conor McGregor inspired me so much growing up. I know I don't necessarily embody the McGregor kind of style and swag, but I just learned so much mentally from him, watching him growing up when he was in his prime and stuff like that. And just from an inspiration factor. I mean, he is who he is and he's going to do what he's going to do, but he inspired me so much in those early days. Also, Ilya Taporia, I feel like he's a guy I connect with on a big level, and being able to use the grappling and the boxing. I feel like I learned a lot from studying him, watching him, not just his mindset, but the skills he brings to the octagon and how he carries himself with his training and with his preparation. A big like part of his camps are game planning, kind of the same thing we do here. So Ilya Taporia and Dustin Poirier. I think those are my top three. Connor, Ilya Taporia, and Dustin Poirier. I feel like I get a little bit of that violence, that dog from Poirier that I like to embody. So those are definitely my top three.
And if or when Conor will be back, do you have like the opponent in mind that you think he should face?
Mm. So I heard they threw Protez around for a little bit. I was like, I kind of don't like that for his return. I was like, just being honest here. And that really depends if he's at welterweight or lightweight. I think if he's at lightweight, I mean, the Chandler fight makes sense. It's been a while. I feel like if he's at welterweight, I feel like Leon Edwards could be a good one. He's kind of not at the top anymore. He's kind of going down. They're both strikers. I feel like you give him a striker, but you don't give him a straight layup. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So if it's at welterweight, I think Leon Edwards would be a good one. And if it's at lightweight, I kind of got to go with Chandler.
Yes, but I think that there are a few good options for him because he's obviously you can't like give him a title shot or some world class fighter who is in the peak of his career, but there would be like few good names. So I think that UFC definitely can try to give him another chance. Let's say.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, Anthony, so many thanks for the time and for conversation. Of course, I hope that you will win your next fight and maybe like next year you will get to the Contender Series, of course, like gaining a little bit more experience, but I think that your career is going in this kind of direction that everything will be good in next year too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I really do appreciate you.